Okay. Who knows? Maybe it's
Yeah.
my insecurities because I was such a bald baby. So when people keep saying that he's bald, I'm
Who
like, but he's
cares?
not. He has hair.
But babies are bald. Like
I know.
that's a normal thing.
Emlyn was not bald. Emlyn had very dark
No,
hair.
no, she was
Yeah,
not.
that's so funny.
I find that I'm just grateful that Gray's hair isn't longer because then I would have had to cut it by now.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah, his dad wants to give him a mullet as his first haircut. I'm like, ugh,
no, no, no,
I don't know
no,
about that.
no, no.
Roll all over me. Okay, so I asked, how are you?
Yes. And I said, I'm feeling, let's just start it from there. Let's pretend like that way I can just like ease in. I'm feeling very lazy this week. I'll just go there.
Yeah.
We'll start there.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, I have that weird warring kind of feeling where you like I feel lazy, but also have energy at the same time. Like, that's a thing?
I am the exact opposite. Like I feel like I want to do so many things and yet I have no energy at all. Like
Yeah.
I need to take a nap every afternoon. And I'm just I'm hoping it's the after effects of COVID and not that I'm
Oh
dying
yeah.
because I feel like I'm dying. Why? Why do I need a nap like an old lady? Ugh.
No. Because maybe that's just what your body needs right now. And I really truly feel like it's the season.
Yeah, it's getting dark earlier. I mean, by 3 o'clock, it's the sun is starting to set. So I just feel
Yeah, yeah, you have it
like
earlier than us. Oh.
I mean, it's not actually setting, but it's just low. It's all like it stays low, so it just feels later. And I'm just like, it's bedtime. It's bedtime.
Exactly. Yeah, we're at 5:30, and I'm thinking, and like we're once we start eating dinner at 6 or 6:30, I'm thinking, but I just want to go to bed. I'm not even
Yeah.
hungry now. Let me go to sleep. And so that, I mean, that definitely affects it. And yesterday and today have been very rainy, overcast days.
Mm-hmm.
So that does not help. The,
No.
oh, I just want to curl up on my couch and watch like the Santa Claus and crochet.
Yeah. See, but at least you're like watching a Christmas movie and crocheting.
Well, I'm not. That's what I want to do.
Oh. Oh, got it,
What
got
I
it, got it.
am doing is working and taking care of a baby.
So see, you're doing things. Like that's even better.
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
go home and I'm like, okay, kids, go color or go play outside. Mama needs a nap. And then I lay
Yeah.
down and I scroll on my phone for a while and I just debate as to whether or not I'm just going to lay there or actually take the nap.
Yeah. Oh, that's the worst too. When you should nap. You probably could nap, but then you open your phone and then
Yeah.
that hurts the nap. And then you decide, oh, well, now like scrolling on the phone makes me more tired in a different way. But then all of a sudden I've lost my window to nap or my
Yeah.
ability to nap because the screen has affected me.
I'm afraid to nap because I can nap for 3 hours. If
Uh,
nobody comes, I will nap for a very long time.
I cannot do that, I don't think. But yeah, I mean, neither of us really have the luxury of nobody coming for us.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. I get nervous. Like, what if the neighborhood kids come over while I'm napping and I don't know about none of that's gonna
But yeah,
happen. They always let me know and they
yeah.
so
And you're a mom. Like, do you
but
have the mom sense where you wake up because you hear things?
yeah, that's true. I definitely do have that. Like yesterday I was trying to nap and I was crying and I ran downstairs and my kids were just sitting coloring, doing, what they needed to do. And then I opened the door and I saw the crazy neighborhood kids crying. I'm like, oh, okay. So I need to either shut the window, but I also want the windows open in case I hear, because then I'll hear my kids if they go outside. So yeah,
Yeah.
so convoluted. Well, okay. So also yesterday I was extra tired because I decided to clean out my inbox. And this I wanted to talk about because I think you're gonna be
Yeah,
like totally
excited.
enthralled. Okay, so I had I don't when I paid attention, like I'm like deleting a bunch, I'm like, I should probably look and see how many I'm deleting, right? And so when I started paying attention, I still had 4,500 unread emails. And by the time I stopped, I like had to stop. I went for 45 minutes strong. And I was in the 2000s. And I'm like, all right, I need to take a break from this. This is taking so long. And then I was telling my friend Paul about it. And I was like, what? He was like, how do you not have an empty inbox? And I'm like, I think part of it was I didn't understand folders when I first got, like folders are so helpful to organize and stuff. And I do it for work. So my work inbox is pretty clean. But my other one is just terrible because there were no folders set up. And even I was telling Jay about this last night. He didn't realize folders were a thing. So I think it's like,
I don't even
if
use the folders that much though.
you don't use the folders.
I have some, but I don't really use them. I just have my own way of, I mean, Gmail is so great because you can search.
Yes.
Like I don't need to keep things in a folder per se.
Well, I think it's the idea of not having anything to look at, right? Like you don't have to see that full list. And so that's what Paul does. He's like, let me check right now. And he looks, he's like, I have one new one in my regular one. And then he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so ashamed. I have 55 in my work. Well, I hear I was tooting my horn. I'm like, 55, I have 4,500. 55 is amazing. So I think, I don't know. I feel like there's got to be something really good to say about like clearing out that inbox so you don't see anything. And if I need a receipt, it's in my receipts folder. If I need like whatever the things, like things from Emmeline's school, it's in the Emmeline school folder. Just because, like, yes, you can search too and it pops automatically, but that way you don't have to think it, you don't have to see it and be reminded of it when you check your inbox. I think it's such a great idea.
See, as long as it's been read, my eyes don't even see it.
Yeah, you don't even pay attention.
That's why I often like there's some things that people, even like silly things that people need to remind me about. I know I've told you before, like when we were in our business, especially, I would say, send me an email with that like that one sentence reminder, because that's the best way for me to remember, because I will not mark it as read until I deal with it. And I have very few unread.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But that's just how, my brain works. Like I'm fine with seeing the whole list, because as long as it's not highlighted as unread, it's like as if it's not there.
Well, so I decided, like when I was talking to Paul about this, I was like, well, I'm only looking at the unreads. I'm not even looking at the full amount of emails that I have. So I'm like, I was on my phone at that point. So I'm like, I got to go back to my computer to see. And so I looked at like the number of emails I had in my inbox at that time after I had deleted a bunch, which was just like, I think it was 5,100. And so then I looked at my deleted, like which were all, I checked, they were all deleted from today or from yesterday at that point. From yesterday, I had 5,000 some odd, like 5,400 deleted emails. So in total, I had 10,626 emails in my inbox yesterday. That's insane.
I don't even know how many Gmails I've had, like ever. Like, is that what you're saying?
You delete them. Like if you don't need them, don't you get rid of them, or do you keep them?
No, I just leave it as read. Like I read it, and that way if I ever need to find it, like there's been some things from 10 years past, I'm like, oh, I know there's an email about that, and I'll search it and find it.
Well, I had
But I see where you're coming from. It's a smart way to do it. It's like the least overwhelming way, because then it's not there anymore.
Well, and that's, so like I'm keeping things if I need them, I'm keeping them. But I'm talking like all these promo emails that
those I automatically delete.
But I would keep them because I would think, oh, in case I ever want to write an email like this person, I can go back through. swipes emails or whatever. Or in case like it was a really encouraging thing that I wanted to whatever, who knows. And then I would have like what I try to do is unsubscribe and then search for that person, any other ones that I have, just to clear it out. But I don't always do that. So I was like finding these emails from people that I unsubscribed from 2 years ago that I still, and mind you, I started this email less like within like the past 6 years.
Yeah.
So per email. And so anyway, my whole thought, and like I was talking to Jay about this, and he said his like biggest fear is digital clutter, right? He does not like digital clutter.
Mhm.
And I'm telling him about what I was talking to you about last week, how I recently heard that like I was watching a YouTube video about how to like tidy up your space or whatever. And she put decluttering in a way I had never heard before. And it made me actually want to get rid of more than I normally do. Like I like to get rid of stuff, but I do have a hard time with some things. And what she said, I meant to look it up before we recorded, but I forgot to find the exact phrase. But she said that the majority of people have like, I don't remember if it was like 80%
more than they can ever possibly manage.
Yes. I thought there was like a specific statistic that I was trying to remember, but I don't remember the statistic. The idea is that they have more, like most humans have more than you can manage within their possession, right? Like if I'm looking around my kitchen right now, and this is more like this kitchen alone has more than I can manage.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I look at it as like
my pen jar right here has more than like I need and or can manage.
Yeah. And so I feel like when you look at it that way, like, oh, this is something that I have to be responsible for, it changes it. Like I have enough responsibility. I have 2 kids, I have a house, I have a dog and 2 cats. I have so many responsibilities. I have a job, I am in the PTA, like all this stuff. Why am I adding like 15 rotten oranges to let's get rid of them.
Same in my fridge because I got them at Costco and I remembered that I don't like getting them from Costco because they go bad. How funny.
Oh my.
We should
anyway.
We should come up with a list on this episode of things that just like go when we get off, we'll go clear out. Like our oranges.
That's what I've been trying to do. But then I'm met with the fact that I'm so exhausted. Like I've got these big ideas of like, oh my gosh, I just want to get rid of everything. And I'm like, yeah, I also can't function after 3 p.m. anymore. It's gotta be.
Well, we used to talk about this all the time. Just the thinking about doing takes the energy. And it stinks. And sometimes buddy, I don't know what you want. Sometimes like it's a plan for it and or you just got to push through because on the other end it's going to feel so good. Really cute vest, by the way.
Oh, vest, is that what you said? I was like, what'd you say?
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, I didn't have to hear my blubbling of my water, but now I have to.
Well, I mean, you hear the blubbling of my baby, so
it's fine. Cute blubbles. This one sounds like I'm peeing.
I'm about to suck on his hand like it's going out of style.
What did you just say? You had a thought, and now I've already forgotten it because of the bubbling.
Oh, like sometimes like you're exhausted and you have like sometimes just the thinking of, okay, I'm going to do all this stuff that's going to feel so good on the other end and give me more energy and time and like headspace. Sometimes you have to like just plan for it and stick to it and do it even in the exhaustion. I mean, not, extreme exhaustion or being sick or whatever, but so that, cause how good it's going to feel on the other end. Like currently, whenever I have these inklings and I'm not finding the time to do it, or I know it's a bigger project, I literally write in my planner. So like, I know, especially when Emmeline's gone for half of her winter break, and I really want to go through her room as one of the things, but some other stuff too. I have written down on specific days, like Emmeline's room this day, living room this day, hall closet this day. And that's what I'm going to do. Like, I'm going to stick to it and just like power through no matter what. I have no idea what else is going to happen that day or like, work things or whatever else, or him. but I'm going to go through that room on that day to just get rid of this stuff. And I know it's going to feel so freaking good.
And I think like you nailed it with the planning, because that's what I feel like. I'm super tired right now, but I don't have a plan. And yesterday, my plan was to write out my plan, but then I got distracted with
Yeah,
my
and it can't be like if it's spur of the moment and it works for you, great, but like that doesn't always work. And just like you said, you're planning to plan. And we used to talk about that too. Like you can plan to plan and you can even write out this beautiful list, but then you have to make sure that you actually put it in a time space in your life.
Yeah. And that's what happened is when I got to the because life also gets thrown your way, right? So like my plan was to plan out my week, because I haven't done that in a while and I know how helpful it is. So my plan was to plan out my week when I got to the coffee shop at 9:00. But then I started talking to the barista. Next thing you know, it's 9:30. I have to get to work. I'm like, okay, I'll just do it after work. Well, then as we're wrapping up our call yesterday, I start cleaning out my inbox. And the next thing you know, 45 minutes has gone by. So
Yeah.
I like planning and having it set. Like you also have to have like realistic expectations around your time. Like what I didn't plan was room for error, which then like the planning, I started to plan a little bit last night, but I still haven't fully brought it to fruition. But I know with myself, if I have like, this is what I'm going to do here, here, and here, I usually stick to it.
And then if you come to, next Tuesday where you're going to clean out your pantry and SHIT hits the fan and you don't get to it, you just make sure that you then clean out my pantry on another day. So like it doesn't get lost. It doesn't get forgotten. And you don't have to keep thinking about it. You're like, okay, like I know that my pantry is annoying me, but I know there's a time and place where I'm going to take care of it already.
See, the thing that happens a lot of times too there is that you're like, oh, okay, like something happened today, so I'm not cleaning out the pantry. I'll get to it, next week. And then, that's say that like today's Tuesday. So then Wednesday, you're supposed to clean out the closet and you're like, something else happens. You're like, oh, I can't get to that. I'll get to that like next week as well. And then like each day, the same thing happens where you keep planning to get to that thing the next week. And then all of a sudden next week, you've got 1,000 things to get to. And that's where what you were saying about like having the diligence to just get it done makes such a big difference. So that
one day, one thing comes up, totally understandable. And life comes up all the time. So you just kind of have to know that too. But there's so many experts that say, the quicker you can get back on the train, like the more you're going to trust yourself. And so then when something comes up the following day, when you have like clean out your fridge, like you trust yourself. You're like, okay, like I've got this stuff going on that it wasn't expected, but I know and trust myself that I'm going to get this done. I'm going to stay true to my word because I like trusting myself. So I'm going to do it. Because the more you do things that you say you're going to do, the more you trust that you're going to do things instead of saying, oh, this is just my life. I just keep, pushing things off and that's how I do things and nothing's ever going to get done.
Yeah. And if you need encouragement, sorry, my thoughts are in a couple of places right now, but if you need encouragement to, sorry, let me just get in the car. And I'm also sorry because I booked this appointment and they had very few appointments and I really didn't want to book it today, but the lady was sassy.
I get it.
She's giving me sass and I'm like, fine, just give me.
What's with sassy appointment setters? I had a friend who has a baby and they kept like they would leave the pediatrician office and they'd be like, oh, can I like schedule the next appointment? They're like, oh, you can just call in and make it. And it's like, I'm right here. So they had another appointment the other week and she's like, if they say that to me again, I'm going to stand right there and call them on the phone. I was like, you do that because that's ridiculous. But they ended up just making it in-house.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Like that. I mean, that would be really funny and I would pay to see that.
Wait, so but they did make the appointment? They didn't have to call? Is that what you said?
Correct, yeah. Okay. Was Jex in the car this whole time?
Yeah, he have I told you this? He loves the car and I can't, like I
know that he does.
Well, I take him with me when I drop off Gray. And if I come home in like, if I come home right after I drop off Gray and try to get him out, he won't come out. He's like, nope, this is my place. I know your schedule. You will go pick up these kids at some point, and that's when I'll get out. So he loves it.
There you go. That's funny.
Okay. So what I was gonna say, now that I'm back and centered is like that diligence now or regret later. That was another thing that the same woman had said, who was talking about all the stuff you can manage. Like, be diligent now or regret it later. Because what happens is like what I was saying, if you've got all these things you need to get done, then they just keep stockpiling up. So like if it took, let's say all this stuff, maximum it took you a half an hour a day. Maybe it takes you an hour, but let's just like all this stuff, you could really set a timer and let yourself be done at 30 minutes. So if it takes you a half an hour a day to get all these big projects done, and you don't want to do it, obviously, like you can't. So sometimes life really does happen, and other times we're just so overwhelmed by the project that we get tired and paralyzed and don't start. And that's like all this week, that's what's been for me. I could have gone and done stuff. I definitely could have done stuff, but I chose not to. And so then it becomes like that half hour that half hour from yesterday piles up with the half hour today, piles up with the half hour tomorrow. And that like the half hour the next day, now all of a sudden it's a 2-hour project instead of just a half an hour that I could have been done. And I could have felt like the relief of having it done. And I'll say like, so as much as I've been tired all week this week, on Sunday, we got home from church and my plan was to decorate our house, like decorate the outside for Christmas. And I was like, I am so tired. I don't want to. And I usually do it by myself. And I told my husband, I'm like, I can't do it by myself anymore. Like I need help. I'm so tired. And then he was kind of like ho-hum about it. He didn't want to do it either. And I'm like, all right, never mind. We're not doing it. And the next thing I knew, he was outside, he was getting ready. And I'm like, okay, we are doing it. I was still tired. I was planning on just taking a nap instead. But no, we got our butts out there. It was cold. We layered up. We drank hot cocoa. We decorated our house. And now I am so freaking happy because our house is so adorable. I could have slept and I could have been like, oh man, I wish that I had, decorated. Maybe we'll decorate next week. But then that becomes like, first of all, the house isn't decorated, which is sad. Then second of all, it becomes another mental stressor. I got to decorate again. I still have to decorate. Whereas if you just freaking get it done, your stress is over. Like it's done. Sure, there's always going to be things, but now instead of 5 things or 10 things that you have to take care of, you just have the one next thing. And so that's what I want to get to, is a place of only living for the one next thing instead of the 10 things that I've already put off in addition to the one next thing.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. That's where I like to be, is the one next thing. And I really thought about it like that. And so that I have the space to dream about the thing after that too. Like, create and come up with what else I want to do. What you were talking about, the what was it? Something so you don't regret.
Diligence now. So
Diligence now.
Or regret later.
Or regret later. Yeah. So that's, again, so many people talk about it, and I've talked about it a million times. Like, put in the hard work now. It might be, let's just give it a number, and this is way different for all different things. But like, put in 5 hours of work now, so there's nothing to do later. Like, it's the systems in place. It's the whole fall back on systems thing. Like, you put 5 hours in to get this system in place that works really, really smoothly, and you don't have to think about it in the future. It's just running. And if you have a crappy day, you get to fall back on that system that runs so smoothly. It's just like automations in business nowadays, that we automate things so that we don't have to put in 5 hours every single time that we're doing this one thing, so that it just runs. It just happens.
That was another thing that she mentioned that I really loved, is that like, so if you're thinking about putting in a system, right, that's going to take some time, like your whatever 5 hours, or I think for us decorating,
it'll take time getting used to,
right?
That's okay.
Like, well, or anything, like whether it's a system or any project at all. If you look at it, like I think the Christmas lights took us probably 2 hours, right? Anything that's taking a lot of time, you're like, oh, that's going to take forever. I don't want to do it, blah blah blah. But then what she talks about too is like, so what do you want to do instead? You want to sit on the couch? You want to, scroll through Instagram, watch TV, take a nap, all of this stuff. I mean, not like a nap is possibly necessary, but like all the other stuff that we're just kind of being lazy about, that'll give us happiness, right? Like, oh, it'll make me happy to sit here and scroll on TikTok, or it'll make me happy to like go and eat chocolate cake instead of cleaning out my closets or whatever, but the happiness, like happiness comes from some immediate satisfaction, and it usually leaves as quickly as it came. But like true pleasure comes from diligent hard work. Like we put in the hard work to decorate our Christmas or our house for Christmas, and now we are reaping the pleasure that like is long lasting. When you put in the work to create a system, it's hard in the moment, but the pleasure comes afterwards that far outlasts the 5 hours of work it took you to put in that system.
It's really funny because I was just listening to a podcast, the U Up podcast, and they had a sex ed specialist on talking. She actually wrote a book that I think I listened to most of it but she talks about pleasure. Like, we talk about desire, we talk about like, spark, we talk about all these things, and like it sounds boring to be in a relationship where like you have to schedule stuff like intimacy or whatever, but she's like, the whole goal is pleasure, like just having fun with each other and pleasure. Like, and she was talking like it not just as related to sex, but then like in life and in friendship and in trusting the person, like putting in that hard work, having the trust, admiring them, like having a schedule together if that's what you need, whatever, all the hard work that it takes for a relationship, and that continues to take for a relationship, is because you get the pleasure of having this person in your life, having your best friend that you live with, having this person that you trust and know you can like do everything and anything with and tell them anything, like have fun with and all of that. Like it's the pleasure of having a relationship because you put in the hard work. It's like, I feel like anything that we do in any realm of life, putting in the hard work is because we just want to get the pleasure, the fun, the cool part of it, and enjoyment.
Yeah. And I think there's also ways to like make it fun while you do it. So, like we played Christmas music, we got the hot cocoa out, we did, and I mean, also watching my son light up with glee as like the lights are going on, like that all brings pleasure. So, I mean, but okay, so Christmas obviously is fun, but like something such as creating a system to clean out your house, or even just like, let's say cleaning out the closet. We've talked about this before too, like get yourself your favorite Starbucks or whatever, like play some music you love or put on a show in the background that you enjoy so you can make the process enjoyable. Like when I fold clothes to TV. That is my reward. I hardly ever watch TV, but I will fold clothes to TV because it's like it's a reward system that gets me excited to do this thing that I despise.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I don't even despise laundry, but it's, it's a chore and it's a task, and I do it on Friday. So I'm at the end of Friday at like 5:30, 6 p.m. sorting and folding and putting away laundry. Honestly, my least favorite part is hanging stuff up. But it's also, yay, it's the end of the week and I get to like spend the whole weekend with my kids or whoever it is I'm going to spend it with. And
not thinking about laundry.
Time where I'm going to watch a show while I do it too, which is enjoyable because I don't really watch TV at all during the week because it just doesn't fit in. So yeah, it's kind of like the beginning little celebration of my weekend. Like I'm getting that out of the way. I'm doing something I enjoy, like to get into the mood of relaxing for the weekend while I do it. And then I get to go into the weekend, like you said, not thinking about laundry, not worrying about anything. I can have my favorite outfit ready. Emily can have her favorite outfit because everything's clean. Unless we wore it on Friday.
I feel like you need to come and organize my drawers, and I'll come and hang all of your stuff. I love hanging.
Done.
Hanging is the easy part. It's the putting the stuff in the drawers and figuring out what to do with the stuff that's too small that I'm like, oh.
Oh no, yeah, the stuff that's too small is annoying, but like I have just a bag that's collecting it all right now of his, especially because he's going through it so fast, that I need to plan a day to take it to the resale place to see what they want and then donate the rest. But yeah, I don't know why. Like it's probably the organization mind of mine. I love the sorting part. Like, I'm pretty okay with the folding part. And it's like, I like having my little piles and it feels so nice and neat and everything's where it belongs. And then like, with the things that go in the drawers, you just grab them and put them where they go. Like, that's not hard. I don't keep super neat drawers. Like, it's folded when I put it in, but I don't care that much about it. And I don't have that much, so it doesn't get too messy. But then it, like, I leave the hanging for last. I'm like, oh, now I gotta go hang like 15 shirts.
That is
To
so
get the
funny.
hangers, I have to put the hangers in. I have to go put them in the closet. I don't know why it annoys me.
I think like to me, I think I like the hanging part the best because it's only one task. Whereas like with the way my brain works, like I can see what you're saying with like having all the organized piles and how nice that might feel. But to me, when I look at all those piles, they are organized. Like they're, every pile is its own thing. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, where do I start? Like it's overwhelming. It's so many piles.
Yeah, that's funny. That's the quickest part for me.
I scoop multiple things at a time to like try to like knock out as much as I can. But then I'm also like, wait a second, did arrow sock mix with gray sock? Which hand is which? And I just, oh my gosh, the putting away. The hangers are easy. It's one option. You hang, done.
Although we're now at the point where Emmeline puts away all of her own laundry. Like, I sort it, and I was like sorting hers all nice into piles and everything into one basket, and I give it to her. But she helped me the other week sort, and she just threw all of her stuff willy-nilly into the basket. Like, no organization, no folding, no nothing. Just if it was hers, it went in the basket. I was like, does that work for you? Like, will you be able to do that quickly when you put it away? She's like, yeah. I'm like, whatever. So now I just throw all her shit in a basket.
Oh,
I'm like, that
is
saves me time.
hilarious. Because I just saw something that like a way to help for ADHD, and Jay has been saying this to me forever. He's like, we need to implement this. And then I saw a TikTok about it and I'm like, oh, well, you weren't wrong. The idea for like people with ADHD is to not have drawers, to just have baskets per person. Like, so she's got boxes or bins, or I don't remember what she has. Jay wants us to get like just cute bins. I think she called it no fold laundry. So when she takes stuff out of the dryer, she puts it in like the dad bin, the mom bin, the brother bin, or the sister bin, like you get to, like, that's where your stuff is. You can go and dig it all out because you know which bin is yours.
Oh, but see, if she's having to dig through stuff, like if it was not put where it belongs, I don't think that would go well for us.
No.
She would take forever to find what she wants to wear, and I think that would be a mess.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think like it sounds nice. It would probably help me with the folding, but like often because right now when I get behind on laundry, I just have piles of stuff that I have to dig through, and then I'm digging through everybody's. So maybe it would help the digging.
I mean, yeah, if you like to sort, probably.
Yeah.
Now we are digressing down a very long laundry list.
Laundry. A laundry list of
laundry. But well, I liked it. It's funny, like we circled back around to what we used to talk about so much.
We do. I mean, it's just I think it's what everybody goes through, right? Like we talked about it for a reason.
Yeah.
Because it's what we're all dealing with.
Yeah, we just all want to get our shit together.
Yep.
At one time. Well, we have less than 2 minutes left. And I did want to say, because I just randomly realized this morning, because I was feeling cute this morning. And so like I took a picture of myself and a picture of him and I was like, hey, it's my half birthday.
Oh, so, happy half birthday.
Happy half birthday to me. Well, while we're recording this, not when it posts. But I think we did it. I'm still loving just the conversations. Like, this is literally what we talked about doing when we first talked about doing a podcast, because we have just conversations that we don't know where it's going to go, but it goes somewhere cool usually and has cool things. I'm going to go, when we sign off, through my oranges and throw out most of them and keep a few that look good and hope that they are good this week.
I've been needing to clean out the drawers. So it's a big project and I keep putting it off. And so by the end of today, I'm going to send you organized drawers, because
Dressers.
for the boys. It's the boys. It's 2 small boys clothes. I got to get rid of the 2 small clothes.
You're
that
so
will
funny
always-
with those.
I know. It drives me crazy every time. And it's that time. So I got to get rid of it. And like some summer clothes too. I got to get the summer clothes into a pile for next summer. The ones that, so anyway, well, tell them how they can stay connected.
Yeah, keep listening. You can, if you want to hear us talk about anything, have a funny story, a weird story, anything you want to say anonymous, or just give us some praise because, you know, you love us, you can email us at youaresonnotalone@gmail.com. You can also like, subscribe. No, not like. Can you like podcasts? Probably. Rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening to podcasts so that this podcast gets out there and more people can hear it and listen to it. Like the other day, we had random